This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The head coach, Brian Flores, addressed the meteors today. You know, we love playing that press conference for you and breaking it down like nobody can. That's what we do here to talk a little football. We talked a lot of basketball. We're going to talk some football. I got a whole bunch of other stories, too, that I want to get to that I got here on the show, man. We're loaded today, seriously. Bunch of stories out there we got, and got some music stuff that I want to eventually get to with all of you out there. We'll probably do that in the second half of the day. For those of you that don't know, we'll be on again in the afternoon, 2 to 5. We'll be down at Hialeah Park, so we'll have a good time out there at Hialeah Park, and we got several guests. Omar Kelly is going to join us at 2:30. to talk a little Dolphins. Anthony Chang, he beat writer for the Miami Herald, will stop by at 3. Kurt Heelan from Pro Basketball Talk at 4 o'clock. Steve Calabro, the casino manager, will join us at 4:30. So we got all kinds of things and all kinds of folks to talk to. We ready, Bill? All right. The head coach, Brian Flores, addressed the media. Let's hear from the head coach, and we'll break down his thoughts and his comments.
Hey, how you doing, Flo? Wanted to see if the odds were in our favor for you to let us know who your QB1 and QB2 were for next week.
All right, go ahead.
So I think you knew the answer to that, though, Cam.
Gotta shoot. Can't make it if you don't shoot.
Hey. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Sofit?
Well, I like that shirt, man. Tell me what you think about the game, and I guess what's it like supporting other South Florida teams here.
I thought the game was fantastic last night. Came down to the wire. A lot of great situational basketball at the end. It came down to free throws, so it was good. I was, obviously I'm a fan of Coach Spo and that team and the way they play. They're tough. They're physical. They grind things out. They play smart basketball. And I'm a fan, and hopefully we can kind of learn from a lot of the things they do and emulate a lot of the success that they've had over there.
First of all, because Bill lowered when the coach was answering, he's not going to give you an answer on who the starting quarterback is. I know Cam asked that now, and I guess he was wearing a Heat shirt, so that's good. I personally like to see that coaches are aware of other things going on in town. I kind of lose respect for the guy that has blinders on and then is only worried about his sport, doesn't know what's going on in the world, doesn't know what's going on in a little bit of pop culture, has no idea what's going on with the other local sports in town. I find that guy to be too much of a Neanderthal. Okay? You know what I mean? Like that's why Riley will always be my favorite, because Riley knows and understands everything going on. He'll know what the Marlins are doing and the Panthers are doing and the Heat are doing, or the Dolphins are doing, in other words, in his case, because he is a guy that is well aware of that and entrenches himself in the community. And then if you want to ask him about something social, he may not want to talk about something political, but he'll know about it. And music, he's enormous and all that. There was more to the guy than just being a great coach and X's and O's. You can be a great coach and still have a little bit more to you. You know what I mean? And we're seeing with Flo a lot of the social issues. He's well in tune with it, and he's more open to it now, obviously, because the league is. But we're seeing, he's watching the Heat. So, he's not the guy that is just going to be the Neanderthal just thinking about the one thing that he does. I kind of find that boring. You know what I mean? I think you can be great and yet still have a little more to your game than just your sport. So go ahead, fire off the coach.
Cam?
Hey, Flo, obviously we've asked you a lot about Tua since he's got here because he's the new hot figure, but I wanted to ask you about what the impact you think Ryan Fitzpatrick still has on this team.
Well, from a leadership standpoint, from an experience standpoint, I think he brings a lot to the team. He's smart, he's tough. I would say from a toughness standpoint, he brings a lot to his team as well. It's important to him. He's competitive. And for Tua specifically and Josh, to kind of talk through, end the game situations, end the half situations, third down, red zone, mic points in the run game, defensive structures, all those things. They're very helpful to the young players, and that it's the same for defensively. So the defensive guy can go to Fitz and say, "Hey, what'd you see on that made you make that throw versus another throw?" So and he's more than willing to take on that role and answer questions, and I think he brings a lot.
Adam Beasley?
Yeah, I have another Fitz question of my own. It's pretty well known, your affinity for him and the relationship that grew between you two throughout the course of the season. But did you really know him before you guys signed him, and how did that relationship develop?
I don't know if anyone's ever used the word affinity with me and any player. But Fitz, obviously I've coached against him, watched him, play in this league for a long, long time. Hadn't met him, but knew of him from, I went to BC, he was at Harvard, so knew of him. But I think what you hear about him as a person, that was all true, and we're seeing that. So he's all the things that I'm looking for in a player. He's tough, he's smart, he's competitive. He loves to play. He's a great teammate. He's coachable. I think there's, I would say he and I probably have a lot of similarities from that standpoint about the way we approach the game, and I think it's been a good fit. So affinity, probably, I don't know if I'd use those words, but I like the guy a lot.
Cam?
Hey, obviously you guys are 10 days away from New England. I want to ask, are you guys game planning for them and I guess their uncertainty at quarterback at this point, or are you still in camp mode?
It's a little bit of both right now, Cam. It's, we obviously started some preparation on them, trying to get familiar with their personnel. They've got some new players, the quarterback situation, obviously. But at the same time, we're going to use today and work on some things that we may not have seen from our offense, our defense today over the course of training camp, not necessarily in New England, but just different looks that we haven't seen offensively, defensively. Really, in training camp, you work against, whatever your defense does, that's what you're going to see offensively. Whatever your offense does, you're going to see defensively. Whatever, you do in a kicking game, that's what you see. But, some other teams are a little bit different, and there's some other concepts that we need to see. We need to see more of. So that's what we're working on today, and then, we'll get into the game plan a little later in the week, probably.
Safid?
Well, I know last season probably just seems so far away. But, heading into year two of your, coaching career here as a head coach, what are some ways that you feel like you've improved and evolved as a coach, and what are some things that, you're still working on?
Well, I'm still working on everything. I try to improve on a daily basis in every area of my life, coaching, fatherhood, husband, friendships. I try to get better really at everything. But yeah, there's experiences that I had last year that I think about as I'm trying to make decisions in this season. conversations that I've had, experiences, situations, in practice and games, I certainly don't have all the answers. I don't think I ever will. So I still lean on a lot of I lean on our coaching staff, whether it's Danny Crossman to Chan to Josh Boyer to Eric Studesville. There's, I feel very comfortable with our group. So I'll lean on those guys. But as far as the relationships with the players, the guys who were here a year ago, they kind of know how I'm wired. They know what I expect. So that's been good. I mean, as far as comfortability from that standpoint. But at the same time, we also have a lot of new players who we're still getting to know them as well. And they're getting to know me, and that's football in general. That's kind of how you try to build a team. There's always some new guys, and you want to just make everyone feel comfortable, but at the same time, coach them hard. And yeah.
Adam Beasley.
Yeah, it's been a minute since Devontae and Jakeem have practiced, at least so that we've seen. I guess housekeeping-wise, is there any uncertainty about their availability for week 1?
The both guys are working hard on a daily basis to get back out there. I mean, they'll be out there as soon as they can be. As far as their availability, I mean, we'll get the injury report start next week. So we'll see. Hopefully they're not on it, but we'll see. They're working to get back out there quickly, as soon as it is possible.
Al.
Hello, Brian. We are just a little over 2 full days away from cutdown day. Given that you haven't had preseason games to look at film, how comfortable are you that you'll be able to make all the right decisions on Saturday?
Well, we're gonna do our best to make. We're gonna try to make the best decisions we can make based on the information, the practices, the walkthroughs, the meetings. We're gonna try to make the best decisions that we can. Look, it's no one's ever perfect. We want to be perfect. We strive for perfection, but and we're gonna make the decisions we feel in this moment that are best for this team. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. But we've already had a lot of conversations on this as a staff. I've had these conversations with Chris and Brandon. And there's a lot of factors that go into getting down to 53. These are tough conversations, for us as a staff. And then obviously they're tough conversations with the players who end up getting released. But that's part of the business. I think everybody understands that. But the focus right now is on today, and that's kind of what I try to message to these guys is there may be some anxiety and some of those things going on about, hey, where's my standing? But the best thing to do is just go out here and have a good practice, and let the chips fall where they fall.
Now that part and the question by Hal is it's a solid question. There's nothing wrong with the question, but I will tell you this. And this is the part that's going to be, we're all going to be unfair to coaches and to front office executives all around the league. This is the offseason that is, it's near impossible to be a good judge of what you have. You've had no practices, no preseason games. You didn't get to go practice against another team for a couple of days. You haven't had the legitimate situations where you've put your players in at least something that's close to game-like situations. The first time that they're going to be in a game-like situation, not even your own scrimmage, it'll be when you actually play against New England. So think about this, man. You know how many front office executives and coaches are setting themselves up for all kinds of cheap criticism? And I mean cheap because they're going to release a guy that maybe was the back end of their draft or a street free agent that they, might have had some talent, but they didn't really get to see the person. And then there's a numbers thing. And if you listen to that statement, we're going to do what's best for our team at this point in time, like right now for this situation. And what he's trying to tell you is right now we don't have time for projections. We don't have time to, you know what? I like the potential of this guy. We'll put him on the back end of the roster and we'll try to develop him. Even though player X that we're cutting is a better football player right now, but he's older, he's, commands more money, whatever. This guy's half the player, but he's got way more talent, and the upside will take that chance. They don't have that luxury. They're going to try to win, so they're going to keep the players that they think can get them closest to winning. That's why I know they cut him already, but that's why they bring back Avery Moss and all these other guys that have already been in their system the last year or two. Because they'd rather have a guy that's been in their system at least in the last year, because it's better than bringing a guy that they have no idea if he can play or not and doesn't know the system. So this whole cut down to 55, whatever, there's going to be a lot of flaws. And every team, including the Dolphins, are going to make mistakes. And the laziest take that's going to be out there is going to be the writer that's just looking for the player that they released and went somewhere else and had some success. Even though it's a player that was a fringe player on this roster, but, they went somewhere else and they got an opportunity and they went to shine. It's going to happen a lot, man. It's going to happen a lot this year. I just hope that the Dolphins are the lucky ones that are able to find a couple off of other people's rosters instead of us seeing a bunch of guys that they let go have success elsewhere. Go ahead.
For one more, we'll go to Cam.
Flo, I know last time I guess we asked you about X, he was just getting off of PUP and getting his legs under him. I wanted to see where you feel like he is at this point, if he's made any progress with those elements that you wanted to see from him.
Yeah, he's made a lot of progress. I mean, he's looked good out there. I mean, he's fast, quick. He's just got to work on the techniques, the fundamentals. That'll come. But he's looked good. Conditioning. I mean, those are things that you work on them on a daily basis to get better. So, he's trending in the right direction. I would say that. Again, a lot of competition at that position as well. And we'll see how it shakes out.
And not a position. Again, I've told you this many times already. I'm not concerned about X. Now, if he gets injured again, then that's when I get concerned. But I'm not concerned about the process that they've taken their time to bring him back. That there's no rush to bring him back, and I think that's the right way to do things because you've got to build him back up again. And not so much as a player, because as long as you get him healthy, he can play. I mean, he had an interception in the scrimmage, and the guy hadn't played football all off season. Okay? So we're talking about a stud. We're talking about a guy that can ball out for this team. But I'm not concerned about it. I just would only be concerned if he gets injured again, because then that would be probably the ultimate setback that tells you won't be able to trade him next offseason, even if you have the chance. I'm not saying you're going to have the chance, but if you do, you need a clean year from him, injury-wise and definitely off the field, because he's had those issues too. He's got to stay away from that kind of stuff. So that's the head coach of your Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores. Let me see if you guys got